Hello, my name is Deborah McLaren and I'm a principal in the Chula Vista Elementary School District. Eddie Enrique, Coordinator of Pupil Services and Instruction, and I have put together this video for the Chula Vista Elementary School District's Suicide Prevention Protocol. The probability of students, faculty, and staff dealing with a suicidal student is real, even at the elementary school level. Suicide is a difficult topic and can leave wounds with all who deal with it. Suicide does not happen to only one type of student. It cuts across grades, race, socioeconomic status, gender, and sexual identification. Most suicidal individuals give warning signs or signals of their intentions. The best way to prevent suicide is to recognize these warning signs and know how to respond if you spot them. Major warning signs for suicide include talking about killing or harming oneself, talking about writing a lot about death or dying, and seeking out things that could be used in a suicide attempt. These signals are even more dangerous if the child has a mood disorder such as depression or bipolar disorder, or has previously attempted suicide or had a family history. A more subtle but equally dangerous warning sign of suicide is hopelessness. Children who feel hopeless may talk about unbearable feelings, predict a bleak future, and state that they have nothing to look forward to. Other warning signs that point to a suicidal mind frame include dramatic mood swings or sudden personality changes, such as going from outgoing to withdrawn or well-behaved to rebellious. A suicidal person may also lose interest in day-to-day activities, neglect his or her appearance, and show big changes in eating or sleeping habits. Suicide crisis intervention that is timely, thorough, and established helps school stay calm while assisting students. The protocol document itself is constructed in 3 parts. The first section reviews the procedure and risk assessment. The second part deals with the documentation forms, and the last section of the plan lists the resources we can share with parents. When a student is identified by staff, parents, or peers that he or she wants to commit suicide, a mental health specialist, which can include any of the following: the school psychologist, social worker, school counselor, or licensed therapist, is notified immediately. If no health specialist is on site, the referral is given to the school administrator or designee. Very important to note here that the student shall never be left unattended once he or she has been identified. An attempt needs to be made with a mental health specialist to conduct a risk assessment within 2 hours. If the mental health specialist is not available, please communicate with your pupil services coordinator to see if another specialist in the area can conduct the assessment. If for some reason no mental health specialist is available to conduct the risk assessment, the school administrator will assess the threat and determine the level of risk using pages 7 and 8 in the protocol document. No matter the risk, the parent should always be communicated with, and all information should be documented and stored in a separate file with either the mental health specialist or school administrator. A CPS call is not always warranted, but if information is shared by the student that constitutes a concern, then a call should be made. Lastly, it is always recommended that the team conducting the suicide risk assessment have an opportunity to debrief after the incident. Please note that the entire suicide risk assessment process could take anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, depending on the complexity. Talking to a student about their suicidal thoughts and feelings can be extremely difficult for anyone, but if you're unsure whether the student is suicidal, the best way to find out is to ask. You can't make a student suicidal by showing that you care. In fact, giving a suicidal student the opportunity to express his or her feelings can provide relief from loneliness and pent-up negative feelings and may prevent a suicide attempt. Here are some possible ways to start a conversation about suicide. I have been feeling concerned about you lately. Recently, I've noticed some differences in you and wondered how you are doing. I wanted to check in with you because haven't seemed yourself lately. Some questions you might ask. When did you begin feeling like this? Did something happen that made you start feeling this way? How can I best support you right now? Some do's and don'ts. Be yourself. Listen. Be sympathetic, non-judgmental, patient, calm, and accepting. Offer hope. Reassure the child that help is available and that the suicidal feelings are temporary. Let the child know that his or her life is important to you. Don't argue with the suicidal student. Avoid saying things like, "You have so much to live for. Look on the bright side." Don't act shocked or lecture on the value of life or say that suicide is wrong. And don't promise confidentiality. There are 3 risk levels. The first level is that of a child who has no previous attempts, no plans, no recent suicide in the family, or signs of depression. These students, however, have made a direct or indirect threat that may have a change in personality or written evidence of self-harm. These students do not possess a high risk level, but nonetheless, a safety plan needs to be created for them. Parents need to be contacted and resources be available for them. The second risk level is that of a child who has suicide ideation, but no access or means to harm or plan to follow through. These students are cognizant and can commit to a safety plan. Parents need to be notified and open to seek mental health support for their child. School resource officers may be involved at this level and can assist the team with further recommendation. As for the school, a safety plan is put in place for the student and a follow-up meeting is scheduled with the parent and student before they return back to school. The third risk level is the most serious one. This is where the child has a history of depression and has made statements about ending their life and have discussed in detail a plan along with the means to do it. We follow the same protocol as in all of the other levels, and we do not leave this child unattended. The school resource officer or the PERT team, Psychiatric Emergency Response Team, is called and recommendations from the team shall be followed. This student may be transported to a 72-hour hold facility by the SRO or the parent, depending on the severity of the case. Once the child returns to school, a safety plan is put in place and a meeting with the parent is held to discuss how the student will be supported on campus. Things to consider. If a student is suicidal, the best way to help is by offering an empathetic listening ear. Let the student know that he or she is not alone and that you care. It takes a lot of courage to help someone who is suicidal. Witnessing a student deal with thoughts about ending his or her own life can stir up many difficult emotions. As you are helping the child, don't forget to take care of yourself. Find someone that you trust, a friend, family member, or counselor, to talk to about your feelings and get support for yourself. We hope that you have found this information useful. Please review the district suicide prevention protocol, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask your school psychologist or Eddie Enrique, Coordinator of Pupil Services and Instruction, at 619-425-9600, extension 1718. Thank you.